All right, everyone, here is 6.1 example B. It says, in Karina's survey from the beginning of this lesson, or from 2 videos ago in the beginning of 6.1, so if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it so you understand what's going on. In the beginning of this lesson, she interviewed 260 skiers and 40 snowboarders. How many people will do each activity in the next day if her transition predictions are correct? All right, so we have the transition model and the transition matrix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work off of the matrix. So what we have is from there, remember the skiing from today and tomorrow. So all I'm doing is just setting up that skiing, and we're going to say skiing, and then snowboard and snowboard. So we know that 0.75 of the people who are skiing are going to ski again. So 0.75 of the skiers. Well, how many skiers are there? There are 260. So what I'm going to do is 0.75, and then let's actually do this in a different color so we don't get all confused. The 260 skiers are going to be in blue here. So it's 0.75 times 260. All right. And then how many of those skiers are planning on snowboarding the next day? Well, we have the matrix already here set up as 0.25. So we've got 0.25. And we're going to multiply that by the 260. All right, then we're going to do the same thing with the snowboarders. How many snowboarders planning on skiing the next day? It is 5%. So we're going to do the 0.05 times, this time it's not going to be 260 because we're starting off with snowboarders. How many snowboarders are there? Well, we go back up here and we say there are 40. So 0.05 times 40. And then the other one is going to be 0.95 times 40. So we get 0.95 times 40. All right. There we go. So there is our new matrix. Okay. So we have right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get all these as numbers to figure out how many there are. Now what should happen is after I multiply this one and this one, if I add those two together, it should add up to 260. If I multiply these two and get numbers, they should add up to 40 because we have a total of 40 people. No one dropped out. No one's not going to ski or snowboard the next day, so it's going to be adding up to 40 and 260 with snowboarders and skiers respectively. So I got my calculator. I'm going to do 0.75 times 260. Let's get the right numbers there. And you get 195. So that's how many are going to ski the next day. So I'm actually going to make a new matrix here. And we're just going to write 195 for right that spot right there. Okay, so that's how many are going to ski from skiers. How many of those skiers are going to snowboard? 0.25 times 260. And you should get 65. We're going to write 65 over here. If I add 65 and 195 real quick, let's just add those together, plus 195. Do I get 260? I do, so I know that's just a real quick check. Hey, I've got all the right numbers. Oh, in case you couldn't see it, it's right there. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so we've done the snowboarders, or the skiers. Now let's talk about the snowboarders. How many snowboarders are going to ski? Well, 5%, 0.05 times 40. And we get 2. So we have 2 snowboarders who are going to ski tomorrow. All right. And then the last one is 95%. Well, if we should get 40 minus 2 should be 38. Let's just double check. 0.95 times 40 should be 38. It is. So I did my subtraction correctly. Way to go, Mr. Bartman. All right. So we got 38 right there. Now, did we answer the question that it's asking? Let's read what it says. How many people will do each activity the next day if her transition predictions are correct? So what we have is this many people are going to ski, many are going to snowboard. So these are going to be the skiers the next day. These are going to be the snowboarders the next day. So if we want to even write that out, ski, snowboard. So it says how many are going to do each. We're going to add these two together, add these two together. So we should have skiers should be 195 plus 2. I'm not getting my calculator for that. There should be 197 skiers. All right, and what about snowboarders? 65 plus 38. That's 95 plus another 103. We should get 103 snowboarders. Oh, and you can't even see any of that stuff that I wrote. I am sorry. There we go. 195 skiers, 103 snowboarders. If we need a check because you're not really sure that 65 plus 38 is 103, well, I just did it and you don't believe me. There you go. Okay, so We answered the question of how many will do each activity the next day if her predictions are correct. 195 skiers, 103 snowboarders. We get those numbers again from 195 and 2, the skiers who are going to ski again, and the snowboarders who changed to skis. 65 and 38, the skiers who changed to snowboarders, and the snowboarders who stayed snowboarding. All right, and there is your answer. Here is your assignment. It says, Karina surveyed visitors to Snow Mountain with weekend passes that found that 60% of skiers plan to ski again the next day, and 40% plan to snowboard. Of the snowboarders, 80 plan to do snowboard and 20 plan to ski. So that what we're going to do is we're going to use the same numbers. 260 skied the first day, and 40 snowboarded. So we're going to use the exact same numbers, just the percentages are going to change. All right, and what I like to do at the end is also read you a trivia question just to see if you are actually following along. That way you can see if you are right with this trivia question. And here it is. What ageless luncheon meat is celebrated by its own 16,500 square foot museum in Minnesota? Again, what ageless luncheon meat is celebrated by its own 16,500 square foot museum in Minnesota? Good luck.